Hello, I am Mac, at least for a day, and everything's going to be okay. This will be mission week 8 for the No Man's Sky Desolation sort of era weekly missions. Currently, the Artemis bobblehead that we're unlocking is at 22%, so that probably won't be finished unlocking until next weekend at least. But let's go ahead and get the mission. Hopefully none of the text will bug this time. We can get all the mission lore. Yep, it's time for Iteration Mercury. Just a reminder, Iteration Hesperus is still missing, and we're, I guess, in the arc in which we're trying to rescue them. And hopefully we'll get some clues about whatever the next big update is going to be once he's rescued. It's just my theory is what's going to happen. Calamity has befallen us, Portal Adept. 1,000 Korvax souls have been severed from the Convergence. Well, that happened centuries ago. It was called the Great Disconnection. I hope it hasn't happened again. The result of a fellow traveler's ambition exceeding their grasp. Hesperus was working with the Korvax to try to simulate the abyss itself. It came for them instead. If Hesperus returns to us, do you believe we can trust them? They have much to answer for. Declare my trust, I guess? I hope you are right, Portal Adept. What? What? You didn't hardly say anything. Dang it. Did it bug again? You know what? I'm gonna quit it and see if I get something different. Because I don't want to... See, all he did was agree with me. He didn't give me any interesting lore besides that. I mean, he said something about Hesperus, but usually they say something about, you know, need to go get Portal. Let's see if it'll let me talk to him again. Yeah, okay. Let's try that again. I'll try one of the other options. Maybe bugged again where he doesn't say the last part. But it may not matter. The last part may just be go find knowledge stones and go through the portal, which we don't really need that part. But I just want to make sure we don't miss anything. Last time when the text bugged, I did try it again off camera, and I wasn't able to get anything extra from it. So we saw all that. Shake your head. This pains me, Portal Adept, though I fear you may be correct. Okay, yeah. And then the part about getting knowledge stones to go through the portal is bugged, so that's why it skipped it, I guess. Okay. Man, they need to fix that bug text. Hopefully, we should be getting a bug fix plus a little bit of content update soon, because it's on PC Experimental, but hopefully it'll fix some of that mission text that seems to be bugging. But anyway, I'm going to skip to when I am on the mission planet. The planet this week is an exotic biome that's monochromatic. Well, kind of monochromatic. It's black, white, and red are the only colors that show. So let's fly to the location, and the comm stations are all telling me that Meaty Chunks is the item this week. So it sounds like I'll have to be killing some creatures to get the items. And I'll be sure to show you which type of creature drop the Meaty Chunks. Looks like there's also giant hot planet assets on this one. If I can ever land. There we go. Oops. Nope. Comm stations are throwing me off. And during a storm, you can see normal colors on this type of planet. For whatever reason. I guess because my explanation has always been because the storm disrupts the atmosphere that filters the light a certain way. The corruption welcomes me, claiming that it has met me time and time again. I hear its static in my mind now. It demands gifts. It claims to have given me so many. Weird. Alright, so according to the comm stations, they tell me how to get to creatures that drop the meaty chunks. So let's fly over to another group of comm stations real quick. See if I can find the creatures. One problem though is there's a bug right now that prevents creatures from spawning sometimes. There's a fix for it on the PC experimental, but that's not going to help us right now. Hopefully creatures will spawn in eventually so that I can do this. My only workaround for it is to reload a save, but unfortunately you can't do that when you're doing a Nexus mission because that'll reset the mission and you'll be back in the Nexus. So I'm just going to have to wait for creatures to spawn, even if they won't. So it's definitely going to be a problem. Worst comes to worst, I guess I could try getting the meaty chunks somewhere else. What? This is a grave. This isn't where the creatures are. Huh. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to wander around and hope to find creatures. It's gonna be really bad if this gets messed up by the creature spawning bug. The bug isn't that creatures never spawn in, it's just they either take a really long time to spawn in, or they won't spawn in when you land on a planet. It seems whenever oh, there we go. There's some creatures. Hopefully these drop meaty chunks. Yeah, it doesn't tell you what they drop. Gotta find out by killing them. These are the fat hippo-like creatures. Good. Okay, so the fat hippo-like creatures drop meaty chunks. I lost track of the other creatures. Of course, they might all be the same species. Yeah, this is the same species, so they'll definitely drop it. Okay, so one creature that definitely drops them is that. Oh, and the parent is after me, and now the sentinels are going to be after me. Anyway, I'm going to jump to when I've collected all the meaty chunks. I got all the meaty chunks. Let's see if we get any additional lore from this when we turn it in. The corruption welcomes me, claiming that it has met me time and time again. I hear its static. Well, it has. I've done this mission tons of times, so it has met me before. It demands gifts. It claims to have given me so many. The anomaly ceases. I think back to Mercury's doubts, to the failures of Hesperus. My fellow travelers are doing their best. We must help each other, I know. And with the thought, another slithers down my spine. It is not my own, it is a voice within me. That's weird. I must help it? Weird. But, this is starting to support the narrative that when an NPC disappears from the Nexus and comes back later, that they are a fake. Because Mercury was saying that that Hesperus died, and if they were to return, they would be fake, or we wouldn't be able to trust them. So Thunder may have been right. I think it's Thunder Humping Turtle Duck Interloper, THDI Productions is his channel. He's been talking to me, and he did a video about it saying where he thinks that Ariadne is fake, even though there wasn't any real evidence for it. He just had a hunch that when Ariadne came back that they were fake and they weren't real. So he might be right about that. I don't know how he guessed it, but the narrative is starting to say that when they disappear, they die and they come back as a fake. Or at least Mercury implied that that's what's going to happen with Hesperus. So it's starting to seed that idea that eventually all 5 NPCs that we talk to in these missions may eventually be replaced by fakes. Unless, I mean, I'm not really going to get into the crazy lore of No Man's Sky now, but technically, whenever we die in the game, we get replaced. We become a new iteration. So all death is permanent death in No Man's Sky. When we die, we get replaced by a new iteration. We might have the same memories as before. We might be able to recover the items from the previous iteration, but we're technically rebooted as a new entity. So technically, anytime a traveler dies, they become a new traveler. They're not the same person. But if that's all that is being said here, it's not that interesting. But it'd be more interesting if the NPCs in the Nexus are being replaced by evil entities. But maybe not. Maybe they're just supposedly being a new iteration of themselves, and they're not, anything really different. Be a lot more interesting if they are being replaced by some evil entity. Obviously, because this is about the Abyss, and we think the Abyss is some kind of evil thing. So maybe they're being replaced by the Abyss, or maybe they're just dying and coming back as themselves like we do. But only time will tell. So anyway, that does it for this week's mission. I have been Mac. Thank you for joining me for a day. And remember, everything's going to be okay.